Page Yud Gimel, Perk Vov, Perk Hamadi Ervin. No, 1 second. He said that that he quoted the Gemara Zvochim, that if Hashem determines Gedula, greatness for a person, it's not only determined for him, it's determined for his family till the end of all generations. Yeah, hold the first column. So he explained, no. Yeah. Let's start from the beginning. Betul Perik Tul Yom. Omra Blosam Reb Chani, Josh Posni Dulu, or the Postal O, Lazaro, Akhra, Vatsov Kaladora, Shinema Lo Yigra Mitzadik Eino, Vesmolochum, Lakisev, Yoshivum, Levetach, Vayikbeim. He installed them on the throne forever in a secure way. Vayikbeyu. Vimhigas Dato, and if the person becomes ingratiated with this, he becomes haughty. That HaKadosh Baruch Mashpilo. Shenema v'masurim b'zikim ilochtu b'chevlei avoni. Okay, if they're bound and chained, they will be entrapped in the bonds of sin. Mashakadosh Baruch Posek Lo Lazar Achro. This we suggested. Ki adul odam inyan atzmi. When Hashem determines a person deserves greatness, to be in the position of greatness, it has to do with the essence of the person. Kilo ha'ish acher. Kashem mekabelas agdula. This is where we're holding. He says when a person assumes a status of greatness, he becomes a different person. He functions in a different capacity. Vein agdula dovim mikra lodom. He's saying something else. I said it differently yesterday. When a person assumes a position of power, Kodesh Baruch gives him. It's not something you're doing. It's not something you do. It's something you become. The reason why you're able to do it is because you've become that. He says, Naslish Acher, a different person. So if a person himself, he becomes a different entity, so let's say he has a child now. The child of who? It's not the same father who just happens to be running a company, who happens to be presiding over a city, governing, or a person who happens to be a king. When Hashem placed him to be king, it's not a commoner behaving like a king. He is a king. So he's a king, so who's the son? Who are the children? They're the descendants of a king. That's Kemo Ashor Yoli Shor. As an ox gives birth to what? To an ox. Avagav Chen Ashor Shocher Yoli Shor Shocher. Let's say the shore is bring a black necessarily. The color of the ox is irrelevant. We speak about the species. The species has to do with the DNA. The DNA is not the color; it's the essence of what the ox is. Something that's the essence that manifests itself in what? In that's the outgrowth. That's the children. That's the essence. It's interesting. In Parshas Tazria, famous. He asks a question. He says, if a person is circumcised, father circumcised, or even the child's born circumcised, does it mean to say the child that he has is going to be uncircumcised? A person is born uncircumcised, is circumcised. He has no foreskin. And now he has a child. His child will have a foreskin. But if the father has no foreskin, why does the child have a foreskin? But why? If a parent has two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, so every child that's born to a human being, those are the features of a human being, and 2 ears. So he's asking, if the father was naturally born circumcised, why does his child have a foreskin? But a person had an accident. A person, God forbid, loses an arm. He has a child who has an arm. Why does the foreskin? So he explains because after the Chet of Adam Rishon, he brings a Zohar. The essence of the person is putrefied because of the evil that exists within man. That evil expresses. That's considered. It's a covering. The whole concept of covering means confusion. It's lacking in clarity. like orla, the first three yields of a fruit tree, you're not permitted to eat. Orlas also. The orla, foreskin's called orla, and the orla, the fruits, the first three yields of a fruit tree is called orla also, kept away from you. But that's all. That's an outgrowth of what? Of the evil. Okay, we'll get the barber's chair. You know, the ball player, he sat in a little seat when he was 3 years old. Cut his hair. Time life. We're gonna broadcast it. Okay, exactly. It all contributes. Okay. So he says, and that's what he says, because the essence of man possesses evil. Evil expresses itself. So he's saying the ox, although the ox may be black, its offspring doesn't have to be the same color, because that's not the essence of the ox. That's not the DNA. The DNA of the ox is the makeup of what an ox is. It's like the Rishonim say this. You know, every animal has a nefesh. Like human being has a nefesh. Nefesh means a life source. Maharal says this, that, for instance, what does the nefesh determine in a living creature? Nefesh. He says, let's say a lion has a nefesh. The nefesh of the lion determines that its development in terms of muscle, in terms of features, in terms of function, in terms of its what it's drawn to, behavior. That's the nefesh of the lion. That a bird has plumage, that a bird is able to fly, that all lies in the nefesh. Although it's the nefesh of an animal, but each animal has a unique nefesh, and it manifests itself in terms of what it's supposed to be. A human being also has a nefesh. We have a nefesh. So all the human capabilities, I'm not talking about intelligence. Intelligence has to do with the neshama. But in terms of the physical of a human being, that has to do with the nefesh. There's a nefesh of a human being. Nefesh. That's the nefesh. So I'm saying, but that's the essence of the person. So he says, when Hashem determines somebody for a position of greatness, it's not something, it's a little man doing a big man's job. If it's determined you should ascend to that level, that means, that indicates innate in you that you become another being. You are that person. So therefore, opposing Dula, when Hashem determines someone has to rise to a status of greatness, that greatness manifests itself even in his family, because that becomes his essence. I'll give you an example. You know, genius. The person has a phenomenally intelligent father. Doesn't mean the kids are going to be phenomenally intelligent. Chance. Both parents are very bright. Probability the kids will be geniuses or being genius. But let's say a person is very intelligent. One parent. You never know, you know. Things skip generations. You never know. But again, when it happens, even though it may skip, but it comes back. Right? It does come back. So that also, because there's something in the genes of that person, his makeup, that these things reoccur every once in a while. It says, because he's quoted the Gemara, it says, when Hashem determines greatness for a person, it's not only for himself, it's even for his progeny, till the end of all generations. He's explaining, because when Hashem determines greatness for a person, it's not the little guy doing a big man's job. He determines the greatness, the big job is because he's worthy of that. So that means that's his essence. You understand? It's not like, you're playing king over here. You put on a costume, you're playing king. No, when you become, that Hashem allowed you to become king is because you have what it takes to be the king. It's Gemara. No, it's Gemara. It's Gemara. Gemara says that Torah is not a Yerusha. Torah is not a Yerusha. Torah, each person has to do his own thing. It's the heritage of every Jew, as the Rambam says. It's Munachas B'Karen Zov. Torah is in the corner there. It's for every Jew to take. Meaning, Malchus, Beis David, that's innate. There's more than Jews. Yeah. His kids may have been all genius. Korach was a genius too. Korach was a great genius. He had charisma. He had everything. He had every quality for leadership, except because of his envy, he self-destructed, destroyed himself, and destroyed others because of his envy. We're not saying he wasn't gifted and he was everything. Look at his descendants. Shmuel Novi. The families that came from him were exceptional families. That was a manifestation of who he really was. He had Gedula, but the Gedula that he had wasn't meant to manifest itself the way he wanted it to manifest itself.
Why do you think that the things that are know about because it's very special? Why don't you think that?
So the Gemara says, Aaron married Elisha Bas Aminadab. Nachshon was his brother-in-law. That because he married a woman with that special yichus pedigree, therefore, and Moshe married a convert. So that's what the Chazal say. Therefore, it says you should be vodik ba'achim. Before you marry a woman, you have to look at her brothers to know, and because rov bonim achareim, the majority of children, they assume the characteristics of the brothers of the wife. No, it doesn't make a difference, but in reality, he couldn't have. It's true, he couldn't have. But factually, the genealogy is the genealogy. That's fact. That doesn't change. Even though Yisro was a great person, right? One of the Parshas are named after Yisro. And he did many things. It doesn't make a difference. But in terms of the essence, it's still not the essence of a Jew. The genealogy is not genealogy of a Jew.
The fact that a bear knows that he finds a certain cave or a certain area to hibernate.
It's the instinct. I'll give you an example. Alan's not that old. He just remember. He used to go to an amusement park. He got into the bumper car. When the car hits the next bumper, it goes in a certain direction. Why? It wasn't going another direction. Of course, it's programmed. That's the way it's supposed to go. That's the way the bear and the lion, everyone is programmed. When it senses something, it's drawn to that. That's part of the instinct. That's the way the mechanism's set within its makeup. Not only that, every situation doesn't make a difference because it's the setting. There's something in its mechanism. It's like you got a robot, right? The way the robot is programmed in certain situations, it behaves a certain way. It has nothing to do with the robot having choice. It's programmed this way. It's in its DNA and its makeup. In this setting, this is the way it behaves. In another setting, it behaves differently. No, there's no. Of course not. It only says in the Parshas, only about a human being. By the animal, there's no such thing. Even the porpoise, even though you may have swam with the porpoises in Florida, doesn't make a difference.
For instance, the dog. The dog can understand and say,
I'm impressed. Dog's days. Okay. That lesson, how much did it cost you? Years. The vet and everything else. Okay. No, of course. Nothing to do with it. It's a more sophisticated nefesh and less sophisticated nefesh. That's what it is. Certain animals, you have the chimpanzee, has a very sophisticated instinct. That, people can mistake it for intelligence. Meaning the programming is so sophisticated that it's able to do certain things that other unintelligent creatures cannot do. It's just a more sophisticated instinct because that's its programming is a different programming because it has a different function. It has nothing to do with spirituality.
So are you saying that, is the Sefer saying that, so the son of a king is...
There's something in him, in that son, we speak of royalty. The truth, royalty. He has royal blood. What does it mean? I mean, his grandfather was deposed, but still, he's the king in exile. He's the prince in exile. What makes him a prince?
Right.
The answer is because his great-grandfather was a king. That his great-grandfather was a king, that means there's something innate in him that gives him relevance to royalty. The grandson is royalty. That doesn't change. Even the non-Jew. It doesn't make a difference. There's something royal. He has royal blood in him.
And therefore nothing. Therefore
that
he
means
doesn't have to be...
Doesn't mean it means he has capabilities that an ordinary person doesn't have. There's something he has that an ordinary person does not have. Because since Hashem allowed his grandfather, great-grandfather, to be the king, and he descends from that person, that says there's something innate in his descendants which are similar to himself.
Is that inversely as well? If it's someone is a evil person.
Evil's choice. That's choice. Evil, we're not talking about evil. He would talk about the innateness. Evil or goodness is not innate. That's choice.
You're saying someone
He was born to be king or a position of power. That's what we're talking about. There's no question. Stalin, Yamach Shmo Zichro, right? Right? He was a very capable guy. He may have been evil, but he was very capable. Stalin, right? He was very capable in terms of what he did. He may have killed over 50 million people in his reign of terror, but in terms of who he was, something. So, greatness in an evil way. Nebuchadnezzar, who was his granddaughter? His granddaughter was Vashti, right? She married Achashverosh, was the husband, right? Even though the Gemara says Achashverosh was head-joined, right? Originally he was the stable keeper. Doesn't make a difference, but factually he assumed the position, right? This guy El-Sisi in Egypt, right? What was it? He was a soldier. Went up in the ranks, but factually he was put in a position that he's made a difference. Hashem put him in that position, okay?